Hello, all my JavaScript friends. This is TheVirtuoid, aka Mike Smith, and this is our snake game. Earlier this year, I told you that, hey, once we got stopped with the factory game, which we haven't really yet, and we're going to kind of go back a little bit to our snake game and start adding all the different pieces to it. Because earlier we had the idea with the design of the snake game is that I could just design any kind of input or any kind of output and combine the two together to make the game wonderful. Nothing's hard coded toward one particular way, or nothing's hard coded to another particular way. I just basically select, hey, here's your input, here's your UI, go have some fun. And of course, earlier, we did both the WASD keys and the arrow keys. So if we selected HTML and WASD keys, then the game itself plays, and we can do the WASD keys. And let me just do one here. I'm not very good at this. But let me crash into the wall here. Anyway, boom, crash, game over. We've now added something here. This is the first part of the video where we're going to start adding different components over the course of the rest of this year. Notice now we have a game controller. So not only can we use the keyboard WASD keys, but now we can use the keyboard arrow keys, and we can use a game controller. So now I'm going to pick up my game controller, and I'm going to use the D-pad to move. And there we go. And the D-pad now works great to move. And the Y key will pause. And the A key will resume. And there we are. So we can pause. And we can resume. And we can actually move with the D-pad on the controller. And let me just crash into the wall here. Boom, crash. We're done. So let's take a look at what this code is going to look like. Now, in reality, this code is very simple. Let me expand something here. Before, what we had done is that with the keyboard layout is that we have a keyboard here that extends a particular device. And we have a keyboard layout that defines all the different layouts. So for instance, if we had the WASD layout, we had, here are all the different keys that does all the different things. Same thing here with the arrow keys. And then the keyboard will consume those two different pieces, those two different things. And depending upon our selection, will give us the information that we need. So the idea here is that we should be able to design a controller, a gamepad controller, to be able to do the same thing. And by golly gee, that's exactly what has happened. So let's go over to the controller, and let's take a look at the controller itself. It works the exact same. You can tell I just suddenly realized I still got some of my comments out and everything, when I was saying, okay, I got to make sure, things are, I'm got to make sure I've got everything correct. So this controller follows pretty much the exact same concept exact same control as the keyboard, with a couple of different important pieces of information. The keyboard has, layout, drivers, inputs, dispose, update, and process keystroke. I'll explain about that one in just a minute, because if you remember the video, which I'll be surprised if you did, the update was not part of keyboard, and you'll find out why here in just a second. Anyway, so the idea here is that, the idea here is that before the keyboard, we had a process controller, which is, basically, hey, I've clicked on a button, I need to process that and go for it. Well, gamepads don't quite work that way. Gamepads, you have to poll the gamepad to figure out what you have, what you're working with there. So this now is within what's called an update section here, and this update section goes through all the different mappings that we have inside the keyboard mapping, and figures out whether we've pressed a particular button or whether we pressed the keypad. But the key important thing here is that eventually we send an on input with the key mapping. Same thing here with the controller. We send an on input with the key mapping, both there and there, no matter a button was pressed or something on the D-pad was pressed. How do we know what's been pressed? Well, let's go over to the controller layout. Now, on the keyboard layout, notice we have these particular maps here that maps, hey, this has occurred. You need to basically have this action in this direction. But we did the exact same thing here with the controller. If this occurs, we need to then be able to have a action and a direction. And this allows us then to be able to sit there and say, as long as the data that comes from the controller, in this case the controller layout, is expected that we have some sort of action and some sort of direction, we can just send that action and direction off to the input and then let them handle it, and we don't have to worry about a blasted thing at that point. And that's the beauty of having these little plug-and-play modules. So no matter what type of controller I have, no matter what kind of, if I have the VR sets or anything like that, whatever I have, it doesn't really matter, because we can automatically just get ourselves this layout and say, okay, if this happens, this is the action, this is the direction. If this other thing happens, this is the action, this is the direction. Now, the only caveat that I've got here is that notice this one has numbers and then B3, B1, and B0. That's what I interpret here with the controller here, is that I basically say, hey, if it's a type of string, then if the controller layout key is a type of string, then I know it's going to be a button. If it is a number, then I know it's going to be from the D-pad. And I get the information from the D-pad because for some reason on my particular controller that I'm using, the D-pad wasn't mapped to any kind of buttons. And I expected it to be mapped to buttons, but it wasn't. It was actually mapped to an analog device, and a very strange one. So I had to kind of warp it to where it worked for me. So one of the things that I would love to do with this particular thing here is to be able to have a universal controller layout that where you can use any kind of brands. But unfortunately, at this particular point in time, that would mean having to basically reconfigure some of the, not use the D-pad, which is what I want to use, but possibly use some of the analog sticks. And I may end up changing this later on to use the analog sticks instead of the D-pad. That way it could work for any gamepad. But for right now, it works with the one I've got. So there we are. But the idea here, and the most important thing here, is that we got that on input action and direction, the exact same thing we have in the keyboard, the on input key mapping. This is called key mapping. Once that occurs, that's it. There's really nothing else to be done, because on the on input gets its event data, and it needs to find out, have I changed the direction? Have I paused the game? Have I resumed the game? Have I exited the game? It doesn't care where the information came from. It doesn't care where, if I use the keyboard or if I use the controller, or if I use a VR set, or if I use smoke signals. It couldn't, or hand gestures. That's another thing you could do. If you had a device, be able to use hand gestures or something. That'd be wonderful to do something like that. But the idea here is that all we have to do is create the controller and the controller layout, or a device and a device layout. We can have a device to be able to connect it with the input to say, hey, you need to do this, and we need to have some sort of layout to be able to tell that device, this is the layout that controls which particular actions do what things. And from that point on, it was just a real simple thing. So I did have to make a couple of changes. Game itself had a change, and let's see if now, of course, I was at the wrong spot, so now I've got to try to be able to find it. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so the on UI countdown complete is where the game actually starts. You have the little countdown, it comes in and it starts up. Originally, we just did the snake move data within a set interval. That's really a rotten way of doing it. And I thought, what can I do, quickly? And I just said, let's just put a request animation frame. Because what I did is we originally had the information inside here, and that information happens to be this input update, which I'll explain here in just a second. That's the update that you see here inside the controller. Right here. In fact, I had to add that to the keyboard, and the keyboard just does a return. But I used to have that inside the set interval, and it was awful. It didn't parse out the controller correctly. It missed button clicks because the controller is meant to be done on an animation frame. So I had to insert the animation frame there that just does the input automatically. And if it's using the keyboard, it just says return. If using the game controller, it does the D-pads and the buttons for you automatically. In reality, all of this should be inside of a request animation frame, but I didn't have a chance to do that. I just wanted to do something real simple and quick just to prove the point. And as you could tell, let's flip back over to the screen, it proves the point perfectly. We just pick up the controller here, using the keyboard, using the D-pad, using the buttons, doesn't matter. As long as I know what mappings go to which on which controller, it works perfectly. Let me hit a bomb. Boom! Crash. Tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. And that's it. That's all there is to the controller. That's how easy it was to be able to put another input on there. So next time we're going to probably, I'm not going to do the the VR set right now. Next time we're going to do, maybe in about a month or so, we're going to do one of the outputs. We're going to do the, let me click on go back here. I'm thinking we're going to do probably the Phaser.js 2D version and get that done first. And then I got to try to figure out exactly how I want to do the VR set, because I think that would be fun. But anyway, well, thank you very much. And that's all there is to do with the game controller.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel to view more videos. Click on the like button on this video and visit us at TheVirtuoid.com. Also, support us on Patreon, where you can get access to member-only videos. Links are down below. Again, thank you very much for watching, and keep on coding.